Hey, how's it going? So I'm going to go and deliver some packages to some people. So here I am in my Hornet. Right now I'm setting up my Mark 83s. I've got 8 Mark 83s on some BRU 33s on my wings. If you're paying attention, I'm actually setting these up to drop together, one right after the other. It'll be 150 dispersion, 150 foot dispersion. And then I've also got a Mark 84, that's a 2,000 pounder. So basically I got 8 1,000 pounders, and then that way I can kind of spread them out a little bit differently. But the main reason is because if I'm going to kind of ripple them like this, I don't get to choose what stations are part of that. If I make them all Mark 84s, it'll drop everything basically from left to right, and then I've got to adjust my trim, and I'm lazy. So we're going to drop the 83s on one target, and then we're going to move on to an additional target and drop the 84 on that. In addition, I'm setting up my air-to-air stuff, although I don't really need it because I don't have any enemy aircraft in this particular mission here right now. But it's always good to go ahead and go through the process of getting my, what I like to call E-War, electronic warfare. I know other people call it something different, but all the other games I've been playing, generally it's E-War. So yep, we're going to do that. I'm not setting up my navigational stuff in terms of TACAN and ILS. I'll do that on the way back to the carrier. I do already have the waypoints in here. Although what I did notice in the mission is I forgot to apply my flare and all that stuff set up, so you can kind of see me manually setting it up here now, even though I don't really need it. Just out of force of habit before they put the DCS manager in the game. I just forgot to apply it to the aircraft. And the other thing I didn't apply was the radio settings, so I'm just going to use the kind of the stock radio settings. It's fine, whatever. I don't quite understand why part of the video capture has got that more clear effect on the right, lower right there. I've never really seen that before. I'm recording off of the Oculus 3 as I'm doing this live. So, yeah. Go ahead and give a salute to the ground crew, let them know I'm ready to roll. Let's see, we've got some custom liveries that I created on all of my aircraft on the carrier. Yeah, whatever, buddy. Stop confusing me. Ah. No, I'm just, screw it, I'm going. So, I know how to line myself up on the catapult. One thing I need to find out, especially if I'm kind of in a hurry, is if I can forego this process here and just line up on the catapult and roll, because if you don't follow their directions, then you won't be able to launch off the aircraft. They won't even bother hooking you up on the catapult. So alright, just follow the signals there. Director, moving into position. Alright, so while this is going on, folks coming over here, we'll take an outside look view of the craft. I had to actually cut the clip and dump the volume down about 15 decibels so that we don't blow our eardrums out. It's loud. There's all my bombs, dumb iron bombs. That's all I need. I'm just doing some basic dive bombing today. Taking a look. Let's see, I tested the elevators there. Right. And I've already retracted the launch bar at this point. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and spool up because I am got 8,000 pounds, I'm sorry, 10,000 pounds of ordnance on here. I'm actually going to hit the afterburners. If I'm going light, I usually just use full power. I don't bother with the afterburners. Alright, here we go. It'd be cool if they had me grab the handlebars to launch off the carrier. Back on the stick. That landing gear up. Set the flaps to auto. And we're going to be on our way. Here I'm turning on the waypoint, making sure I'm set to the first waypoint, not 0, which is actually on the carrier. And we'll go over one of the frigates. We'll see more of the carrier battle group when we return. For now, just enjoy the flight. So I move over the direction. I'm going to move past. You can see I'm moving more to the right of where I need to be pointing to. And that's why I can go ahead and make my turn and line up with the bombing run I want to make on the target. We'll talk about the target in a moment as we get a little bit closer here. Just checking some stuff. I decided I just wanted to roll a little quicker. So that smoke you see over there is actually a very large fire that I put on the map, mainly for navigational aids. But there are also 2 small ones that are kind of kitty corner to each other that kind of frame the target area that I'm looking for. I don't have an app flare on here, and so I can't really use something I don't have. Of course, I can use the binocular, kind of zoom in like I'm doing right now, and go look for that, which should be to the right of the larger plume of smoke that you see. This is going to be in Gaza City. What we've got here is Hamas is having kind of an event. They've got some armored personnel carriers, they've got some AAA, nothing too serious, but still can shoot me out of the sky if I'm not careful. And a bunch of people, it's like recruitment. They've got a field depot, they've got some other stuff where they've got weapons, kind of out on this soccer field next to what appears to be a school of some kind. That's the large plume. I could barely make out the other 2 small ones. For some reason, even though I recorded this on pretty high settings, it does seem to be that, oh, I know why, because I had to zoom in the way that you have to crop these things for when you record it off of VR. Smudge of something on my monitor, but as we close in we'll start to see it. Still looking at it, trying to find where the hell is the damn target. I mean, I know roughly where it is, but then you just have to kind of pick it out. Just kind of adjust my course a bit, because I want to make sure I'm lining up right across the long way of the soccer field, because that's where everybody's hanging out. I want to make sure I splatter as much of the hostile folks and their stuff as I possibly can. Hopefully I take out some APCs as part of this. The bombs should be big enough to nail them with the shockwave. But I'm basically aiming right down the center of the soccer field. Like I'm going to score a goal. Yeah, there it is right there. Kind of see it now. Go ahead and take a closer look at that here in a moment as we close in on it. Try to line up my bomb line. I've already flipped the and I already set my waypoint to the next target because I already know where I'm going. Flip the master switch to fire. Just kind of lined up right. A bit of adjustment. We're going to wait for the bombing target there it is, and drop them. You can see on the left there the stores, all 8 bombs just kind of rippled away. 150-foot dispersion, and here they come down to our friends on the ground. Wow. Pretty nice bombing run. I could have tightened that up a little bit. Maybe I should have gone, next time I'll have to try 100 feet. Nailed a few buildings, but you know, see some people getting smoked over there. All bad guys, of course. And I hit the wrong key there and pulled up the map, but that's okay. And now we're going to go ahead and fly off to our next target. And while we're doing that, and I've got it set on autopilot, we're going to just kind of survey the damage here. pretty nice. Definitely hit a lot of their stuff. The field depot's been destroyed, as well as the ordnance, some of those tents that they have that we don't know what's in there, but it's nothing good, that's for sure. That's all gone. So, 8,000 pounds of owl right there on the soccer field, and a little bit before and after. Yeah, better to be coloring outside of the lines a little bit than color too far on the inside of the lines, right? So at this point we should be actually out of Gaza, flying over Israel and heading off towards the northeastern kind of element of the Dead Sea, which we'll see off to our right a couple of times. Nice views. A few more clouds that I would really like to have. I would like to be up at a higher altitude, but then I can't really see what I'm doing through the cloud cover that we have here, unless it just happens to be in the right spot. So I'm going to try to keep this below the cloud layer that we have in front of us. So I'll be leveling out here in a minute. Take a look at the outside of the craft. You can see my BR-33s are now empty. We don't want to jettison those. They get mad. That costs money. So we want to hang on to those if we can. A couple of 120Cs as well, in addition to my AIM-9Xs, my preferred air-to-air weapons of choice, even though I won't be using them on this mission. So, good to have them anyway, right? Better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them. Alright, turn in closer towards where the waypoint is, which is set pretty much right on top of where I want to bomb. I will not actually use it to designate a target, even though I can do so. I do not like the auto-release that the CCIP mode will do when it's tied to a target on the ground. I just feel like it overshoots it a bit. So what I'll end up doing, like a lot of times what I'll do is, if I've had an APFLR, I will use the waypoint to designate the target, get in on the APFLR, and then de-designate, and then work with the APFLR to precisely hit my target if I'm using guided ordnance and things like that. But I prefer in CCIP mode to actually not have a target designated, so I can just line it up with the target and let it go. So this is a 2,000 pound iron bomb. I currently have it set to safe. I'll flip it up to arm here as I get a little closer. Looking for my target now. Not quite making it out just yet. It's down there. Oh, I think I see it now. Yeah, it's right there in the center of the screen. Just start to make it out. There's Dead Sea over there. So yeah, we're about 13 miles away from the target, closing rapidly at 450 knots. I'll take another look here in a moment, just kind of see where we're at. Closer. Yeah, there it is, right there in the middle. It'd be nice if they had a bit more stuff on the ground, but I might have tuned it down a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and alter my course a little bit to change my approach. Get another look while I'm doing so. We're going to go ahead and bring ourselves on target, and we're going to start diving. The other thing when I bank like that too is it's helping me to just get a better, I don't have to do a full dive. So that big gold thing right there in the center, that big shiny golden dome, that's the target that we want to deliver this to. A lot of bad stuff going on down there. Weapons, terrorism, you know. The usual. Here comes our bomb target. Get ready to release right on that gold dome. Looks like that's pretty good, so let's go ahead and pull up, and then we're going to try and watch the bomb fall on this thing here. Whoop, there we go. Comes our 84, and yeah, I kind of missed it. Alright, still destroyed it, but I mean the shockwave would have been pretty devastating to it, but I still missed it. I really wanted to nail it right into the center of that dome. So practice makes perfect, and I'm way out of practice by at least a few months, probably like several. 6 or 7 months since I've used dumb bombs and things like that. So, but you know, it's still not bad. I wiped out the targets, and now we're going to go ahead and get home. So I'm setting up the TACAN, which is the That's the carrier's channel that the TACAN's on for my navigation. And for some reason, I think I bumped a button and I kind of screwed it up. We'll fix that. And we'll set up our ILS. Sometimes you got to make it stick. I do have a multi-switch kind of thing that I put on the top of my left thigh, like a knee board. There it goes. That has a lot of that stuff set up for autopilot, TACAN, a variety of other things, plus some views, so I don't have to reach up and try to find the keyboard when I've got my VR on. And then I also have on my right thigh a Logitech trackball, and these are both these devices are Velcroed on the bottom, and then it just has some Velcro strips, tie-down strip kind of things that I just put around my legs and slap them on there. So don't need knee boards. So here I am trying to find the carrier on the menu here. But I'm too far away from it, so it's not close enough to make it up on the list yet. But we're going to turn towards that, and we will eventually pick it up. This is because I forgot to set the carrier channels to my aircraft here, and so I got to do it that way. And I'm too lazy to go ahead and program it in the old-fashioned way, right? So okay, we're going to move out towards the Mediterranean Sea. We're going to get ourselves with a nice course of 270, dead west. West is the best, as the Doors had said that in the end. The West is the best. This is the end, my friend. Here I am, like, what did I do wrong? I can't remember because it's been a while since I've actually flown this thing. Then I kind of forgot. No, I need transmit, receive, not any of those other options there. I'll fix it, though. I do fix it. That's a point. Make sure on my flight control surfaces that I've got that set up on my right, HSI on my left. Looking at full power here, no afterburner. I do want to make sure I have enough fuel to get back. And I'm pretty good on fuel, but if I use the afterburner, it might not be so good. Nope, not on there yet. It's okay, we'll get there. Carrier's out of ways, probably a good 50 miles or so. Hard to say exactly. But we will know once we fix our TACAN here exactly how far away the carrier is. I'm trying to... There it is. Yep, TACAN's corrected. Missed the... Oh, wow, 67 miles. Okay, a little farther than I expected. That's okay. I know that the... I'm going to set my course line at 20 degrees, which is what they'll tell me. I know this because I'm the one who made the mission. And I've flown it quite a few times, so I'll just go ahead and plug that in now just so it's there. And that could kind of help guide me there on the HSI, because I want to cross over it a little bit and get into the pattern rather than approach the carrier from there and going in the pattern that way, because I'm quite a bit ahead of the carrier at this point in time. Let's see if we got the carrier on the list now. Still no. It's okay. Keep on rolling. Rolling. I believe that's Ben Gurion Airport down there. I could land there, but I want to land on the carrier. It's more fun. Another outside view of our craft. I'm just kind of eating up a little bit of time here. Cool thing is when you turn your head in the VR, it will turn the head of the character in the cockpit. Now, it won't move when you're in the outside view, but like if you turn your head to the left and you look out, you'll be looking to the left. Go back in, turn your head to the right, and look out to the right. It's kind of cool. And you might notice I don't have my pilot drawn in here. Just I'm invisible. I'm like Claude Rains. Yeah, where is this thing? I'm too close to too many airports. So while we're waiting to close distance, we're going to look at the TAC view recording of this, and we're going to speed it up a little bit. You'll see me launch off in the distance there. Kind of the distance on the horizon is the carrier battle group. Oh, and there's my aircraft coming up. And then right there down on the ground there is that cluster of folks around that soccer field. There's another group of bad guys over there on the right, but they're not the subject of this particular mission. I'll have to do one with them because they're a tricky one to hit. I got them like down in the middle of some buildings. And the idea there is to basically park the bomb like right down in the middle of it. Combination of AK-47s and RPGs on those folks. So here I am coming in. For some reason I bumped something in the cockpit while I've got this overlaid. I'm not actually being locked up. That's just running through its normal test because I think I bumped the all the ECM stuff off and I turned it back on, so it's just running that again. Now as we close in here on the TAC view, I will actually switch from a 3 times playback speed to real time, so we can actually watch the tracking properly.
Marshall 119.
Oh, looks like I found the carrier. I just overlaid it.
Angels 3. Stay 3.8.
It's not actually communications of me approaching the people, that's me approaching the carrier.
119er. Weather is visibility 10 plus miles. Scattered clouds at above 10,000. Altimeter is 29er. 3. Case 1 recovery.
AWACS out of the right.
RC 20. Report see me at 10.
And I bumped the button for see you at 10 by accident. Whoops.
119.
Even though I'm like 45 miles out or something at this point. Alright, here comes, or I come rather. You'll see the bombs release here right about now. Yep, there they go. Whee! Just pull up and out and away. You know, the funny thing is the AAA didn't even try to shoot at me. I must have been just out of range. Splash, a whole bunch of stuff. Not everything. The APCs look like they actually managed to survive that. Tough little buggers. Alright, what do we got going on here? About 36 miles out. We're going to cross the course line here in a moment, in which case I will turn into a bearing of 200. Put my mirrors on and off by mistake. And I'll reduce my altitude to 2,000. I'll start reducing my speed to 350 if I haven't already done so by now. I don't know why I'm messing around with that stuff down there. We've got a little ways to go in here, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over here in a moment.
119. See you at 10.
There we go. So that's our outside view again. Something went wrong and I accidentally popped all my chaff off.
119. Stay 3.4.
So I'm going to switch over to the TAC view recording again. It's actually going to play through while we're closing the distance here with what the actual landing looked like from the TAC view perspective. So you can't even see the carrier battle group. They're still too far out to make it out on the surface. Still have my scale set to 40 on my HSI. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and dump it down to about 10 now. I use that with the wingtip of the craft representation to kind of guide my distance from the carrier and things like that. When I get closer, I actually start using the ships because they do have the ships set at particular things. So there I am. This is actually what will see me fly in here in a minute. That's the actual carrier battle group. Got one carrier, the Truman, that's the CVN 75. We've got 2 frigates, a destroyer, a guided missile cruiser, and 2 attack submarines. So plenty of defense from just about anything somebody wants to throw at us that's in this actual area, including Turkey if they want to get saucy. So that'll be me coming around and then getting ready to do my final approach. So at this point I'm rolling to the left there, still at an 800 foot altitude, so I've gone from 2,000 down to 800 feet, 350 knots. I actually used the barometric altimeter hold as well as the ATC to manage all that while I fly with the stick, and that way I can get in nice and close to the carrier, take a look down on the deck, which you'll actually see me do here in another minute or so, and then you'll see me break to the left. This is where I actually cut the ATC. I would have turned off the barometric hold at this point as I make my turn. We'll go through the mechanics of that when we actually do it. And then I start back on a 200, bearing of 200, adjusting my trim. And any moment now I should go ahead and make my final turn, probably right before that frigate I see there. Yeah, there I go. at this point, I'm reducing my speed considerably, probably anywhere from about 135 to 145 knots as I make my turn. Notice it's got a 3 times speed. It's not that fast, but I will actually turn that speed down here in a moment as we approach the carrier more closely. There we go. We'll turn the camera around a little bit, kind of track the aircraft in, maintaining the proper glide slope. And try not to smash into the tail fan or smack something on the deck or just otherwise die. I did. I made a pretty good landing there, although frankly I hit the number 4 wire, so I overshot, almost had a bolter. But that's okay. And then after that, I will raise the hook, raise the tail hook, and start taxiing over to parking. I'll park on the rear starboard side elevator. Aft, not here. Okay, so here's me actually flying in to do it. Off to the left, we can make out the carrier battle group. You can see the carrier is the largest thing there. So we have the surface ships. You can actually see the periscopes of the 2
Tower
subs.
119. Overhead Angels 1. Stay 2.8.
Alright. So this is me, 350 knots, 800 feet.
BRC 20. Signal is Charlie.
Got the helicopter up there. Checking out my stuff down the hook, which I probably should have done sooner. And I've already set the 500-foot warning to just 0, so it doesn't scream at me while we're landing the aircraft. Not a good time to have distractions. Yeah, I can see the periscope way over there, just breaking the surface of the ocean. Or the sea, technically speaking. The Mediterranean is a sea, not an actual ocean. They're pretty big and treacherous. That's evidenced by tons and tons and tons of shipwrecks at the bottom of it, all over the place. Alright, so this is our first turn. Trying to maintain an altitude of 800 feet and a speed of about 350 knots. The autopilot's actually managing both of those for me. Well, the ATC is managing the speed while my autopilot manages the altitude. It's so strange about that thing in the lower right. I don't understand what the heck that is. It's funny. Alright, we'll level out here in a moment as we approach the bearing of 20. Come alongside the carrier. Might be give it a little bit of slop based on the distance away from the carrier. I like to be roughly about halfway between the carrier and that frigate you see just to the right of it. And that way I know generally if I make a good turn, I'm pretty much lined up the way I need to when I make the final turn before I actually land. So we'll take a look at the deck of the carrier real quick and make sure we don't see any other obstructions or anything like that. Don't see any. Yeah. Templar livery really sticks out on the deck of that thing. Plus it's starting to get a little dark. And now I'll flip off the ATC. I flipped off the barometric altitude hold, and we're going to go ahead and make that turn. Start burning off speed. Flip the flaps down to full. And in a moment I will lower the landing gear. Which may not actually see the switch move. I won't be looking at it. Looks like I just hit it. And I generally line up roughly around this frigate or destroyer right here. I can't remember exactly what it is. Oh, you know what? Actually, that might be the guy that missed the cruiser. Yeah, pretty sure that's a Ticonderoga. So this all kind of helps me just line up. I have the ship set up in the battle group, so it just helps me. They're navigational aids. There you go. Visual navigation aids. We can see from the indicator there that I'm maintaining pretty good glide slope as I continue to move out enough past the carrier to go ahead making my final turn and land, which I will do not long after I pass the aft of the vessel. So at this point, the only thing I'm doing with the joystick is left and right roll and the pitch adjustment. We're not going to, as I'm sure you know if you do these sorts of things, we're not going to actually use the stick forward or backwards to try and stay in that, because it won't work. We'll let our trim control do that for us. And of course using the throttle to mainly manage our altitude. So the trim keeps me in the proper glide slope, and the thrust keeps me, manages my altitude. See the indicators on the left telling me when I should increase or reduce thrust. Too bad the VR doesn't center it right down the line. You can only do the left or the right eye. I think you could do both eyes, and I think I tried it once. I didn't like the way it looked, but that's okay. I'm actually probably leaning to the right here, just in my cockpit seat, so I can see out the window a little better. All right.
119, Hornet Ball, 2.1.
Yep. Grab that Hornet Ball. Not lined up.
You're lined up left.
Yep. Not quite lined up right. Got to go out to the right a little bit, because you don't land straight on the deck. You land at an angle. So.
You're drifting. You're lined up left.
I'm getting too close. It's good enough. That's it's not perfect, but practice makes perfect, and I need a lot more practice. Aiming for the crotch of the deck. And cut the power. Punch it forward. You can hear the engine spool up, but I did manage to catch that fourth wire. I was surprised. I actually thought it was going to be a bolter on this one. Flip up the hook. Alright, the director's just telling me to go that way. I think what they do, what they generally do is they tell you, oh, okay, they've changed this. Why are you telling me to stop? You know what? I'm going to go park this thing where I want, buddy. Yep. I'm just going. See ya. So, like I said, I'm going to go down to the starboard elevator on the aft section of the vessel here. Taxi my way down there. Landing gear looks good. It didn't munch anything. Already folding the wings up. Yeah, if I turn left now, I go to the elevator I don't want, or I just go ahead and park this thing right into the side of the island. I don't think I want to do that. Should do a night one. It looks really cool at night. All the lights are lit up. It's remarkable too. Like the lights only light the things you really need to. You don't have like a lot of light pollution on these things, which is good. You don't want to stick out too much, especially at night. Turn in onto the elevator here. Line up with the lines there to make sure that we'll have clearance, so that the wings don't smack the deck as the elevator is lowered later. It's not something I'll be doing. I'll go ahead and line it up, park it. It's going to look like I'm going to fall off into the sea, but the front landing gear is basically right under my butt. So I've learned to just kind of look over, be like right about there. Yep, that's good. We'll take a quick look outside. I could have gone a little more, but I do have clearance on the elevator here, so yeah. It's not like I could back up and do it over again. I could go a little forward, but it's not really necessary. We'll go ahead and cut all the power all the way back. Flip off all of our generators and open the cockpit. Get that nice sea air